Well, hello, my people. I'm back. You thought I probably disappeared, huh? No, I'll always have your monthly horoscope uploaded by at least the first week of each month because of yada yada yada, my workload and overtime and all that fun stuff. Um, and I just want to say happy 4th of July, America, to all my fellow citizens and patriots and all Americans. And in the spirit of the 4th of July, I do pledge allegiance to the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Woohoo! I love my adopted home country. With that as well, I am claiming my vacation time for July. I will. It's 4th of July is important for me and my family. We're having a huge shindig, so I was just going to skip July altogether, but I thought that would be really unfair. So what I'm going to be doing is breaking down the major aspects of July, um, and um, and explaining them in detail. But I will not be doing a summary for each sign. I will mention some signs throughout when I'm discussing this breakdown of the major aspects. So here we go. Take a screenshot of this July 4th through the 18th through the 25th, 26th through the 31st. So these are the major aspects we're going to be discussing. And like I mentioned, I will be mentioning some signs throughout. But if you will allow me and forgive me, I would like a vacation for July as far as doing each sign. Um, I will be uploading a video shortly in regards to Uranus in Taurus, though, in Gemini rather. But I'll be mentioning that throughout this breakdown as well. So yeah, with your permission, I would like to have a vacation this month from doing each sign for just this month. All right. So let's start right away. All right. All right. So the month is broken down in three separate parts. The first of the month is really quiet, um, for the most part, with one exception or two. Then the second part of the month is really just standing, stopping, catching our breath, and a retrospect of everything that's been going on since the beginning of the year. And then the end of the month is where it starts up again. Things get louder and louder. They're setting up some tense aspects that will surely explode next month. August is a wild month, but that's how the month is broken up into these three parts. So let's go over them a little bit more. As you see, on July 4th, it is significant. We do have Venus conjunct Uranus in Taurus, but at that very critical 29th degree of Taurus. So this is a wrap up. Um, it is the solidification of almost the past 7 years, an epiphany of that. Right after, Venus will enter Gemini. And then major thing is Neptune is going to be stationing retrograde in Aries. Um, Both Neptune and Saturn entered Aries the last couple of months. And pay attention to the days around the retrograde, the stationing of a planet, either retrograde or direct. In this instance, it's retrograde because these planets are very powerful in their vibration because these are the outer planets. These are the slowest, slow moving planets that affect change, slow grinding change. And that's a lot of energy. And when it stations, that energy is multiplied um, and reverberates. So we get a sneak peek. Sometimes the veil is lifted where we get an epiphany of what it's all about. Okay. And then, um, well, let me discuss that later because we're talking about not, the first half of the month not being um, that loud, uh, except for Uranus entering Gemini. The full moon in Capricorn. on the 10th is, for the most part, pretty quiet. Um, it's not really making major aspects to anything else. So it's a closing, it's a culmination, a fruition of our past efforts here, that we set our intentions back in the very beginning of um, this year. We had a new moon in Capricorn then, and now 6 months down the line, we are seeing the fruition of our actions since then. But it's not really a very significant loud moon. It's some type of a realization that's coming through. And the signs that'll be most affected really with this full moon, I would have to say Aries, definitely, but you've got so much going on, Aries, that, this might be just an afterthought for you. Definitely Cancer. This is your seventh house of relationships, all types of relationships. And I'm going to throw in Sagittarius, because this is your fifth house of love, romance, children, and creativity. And of course, Capricorn. Um, I'm sorry, as far as Sagittarius, I messed up. It's your second house of job, income, and value system. I apologize about that. It's Libra that we'll throw in also, because it's Libra's fifth house of love, romance, children, and creativity. And then definitely Capricorn. This is your first house of self. You have been um, changing, yeah, of course, with Pluto finishing up in your sign, but then solidifying all these changes with that new moon, setting your intentions on the new you since January, and you were over here. You're solidifying something, realizing something. Something is coming to fruition for you, and then well, I'll take the Saturn during the middle of the month. But what's the exception to the quiet first part of the month is Uranus entering Gemini. Dum da da dum. After 77 years, Uranus will be entering Gemini for the next 7 years. Of course, Uranus has been in Taurus for the last 7 years, and Uranus doesn't really like being in Taurus. Why? Well, because Taurus is an Earth sign, um, and it is a stable sign. It is a pragmatic sign. It's it takes a long time for a Taurus to make up its mind, and it likes stability. Uh, Taurus rules the second house natally, so it's very cautious and a very stubborn sign. All good though. However, Uranus is the planet of shock, surprise, and electricity. It rules quirky and futuristic Aquarius, an air sign. So Uranus is uncomfortable in a Taurus, and as far as the changes it wants to bring uh, are chaotic, turning things on its head, and Taurus doesn't work well there. So Uranus entering Gemini is going to be wild, um, because Gemini, just like Aquarius, is an air sign, and Gemini is, of course, the sign of the twins. So it totally gets both sides of the story, and is very, very inquisitive. It is ruled by Mercury. It's playful. It's the sign of like children. It's the lower octave. It's ruled by the lower octave of Mercury, where it's like the simple education, basic education, learning, um, but very inquisitive, very up to the task of um, finding things out and experimenting. Gemini likes options, and it doesn't mind Uranus's shock value if it gets things done. Gemini is still practical. It is about point A to point B, and the details, getting those down right on a daily basis. But it is the social butterfly, very talkative. Gemini can out talk anyone, and is up to Uranus's shock of value, and turning things on its head. It doesn't mind it. It welcomes it. It likes the wild ride. Um, Gemini natally rules the third house of communication, um, commuting, modes of commuting. It rules neighbors and neighborhood, siblings, cousins, and extended family. It rules the community, but a very close knit community, like minded individuals. It rules social media, definitely, language, or a language other than your own. It's your need to be heard. So that's natally. Now, of course, in your natal chart, um, you might have Gemini in a different house, but the background theme will be the third house that I mentioned of all those aspects. So Uranus comes in with a bang and leaves with a bang. So we don't really know what will happen um, if it does come in with a bang, or if the bang will come a little later on. But something significant might go down around the 7th. It might have to do with journalism because Gemini rules that. So news and fake news and all that. Something might be revealed here. Um, it might be with aviation, or any modes of commuting, cars and all that. It also might have to do, because Uranus is in the picture, alien disclosures. You might be hearing about that, and it might be shocking and surprising. So all those, and down personally to each person, um, it might it might have to do with something else. But on the collective level, on the bigger level, yes, in the news you might be hearing things about new ways of commuting, communication, aliens, AI. AI will probably be huge here as well, and how we get information. Um, so yeah, so we don't know, but brace yourselves. It's going to be exciting because Uranus is unleashed in Gemini. Oh my goodness! All right, and then we do have that full moon that I discussed. It's a completion, like I mentioned. Now the middle half of the month uh, is going to be like a slowdown and a retrospect, and like wait, let me catch my breath because we've been going through all these new and exciting changes. So Neptune, I mentioned, is already retrograde at this point. Saturn will be stationing retrograde as well. Um, and we're coming closer and closer to the Saturn conjunct Neptune. And as you can see, I put almost conjunct. That's not really the technical way of saying it, but I think it's within a quarter of a degree. And that's pretty close. The exact conjunction is next year in February. And why is this significant? This is significant because, of course, Neptune rules your imagination, your creativity. It rules Pisces, dreamy Pisces, and the 12th house of the past, of illusions, of dreams, spirituality, faith, of taking care of someone, your psyche. Um, but Neptune rules like the oil industry, perfumes, arts. Um, it rules the music industry, the movie industry, uh, makeup, and all that. So it's about illusions and about escapism, and water. Everything's fluid. Saturn, on the other hand, is the strict taskmaster. Um, it is the teacher, the very patient, yes, but strict teacher. No corners to be cut with Saturn, um, because Saturn breaks illusions. So this conjunction is going to be wild, especially next year when it's exact. But here, like I said, it's very very close. So it's going to be coming to a realization about something. Now, it isn't. Both are in the sign of Aries. So Aries rules image, identity. Um, it rules the compassionate warrior. It likes hierarchy and structure, but it wants to get things done, and it's the pioneer. But it's mostly about image and identity. It is the first house of the zodiac. So we might see the effects of avatars, um, fake identities, um, alternative realities that have been playing out into our identity. So there's going to be some kind of a realization about this illusion or fantasy or escapism that we may have um, dabbled in regards to identity, or identity will be in the background. So Aries might be in a different house for you, but the background is about identity and image and a realization. A hard For some, it'll be a hard to take notice of an illusion or fantasy or an escapism that you might have dabbled in, or identity theft that may have hopefully not happened to you, but that can also play out there. Uh, we also have Mercury stationing retrograde in Leo on the 18th. Um, and again, pay attention to the words spoken around this date, as whenever a planet stations, again, you get like some kind of a sneak peek. And this Mercury stationing retrograde and the retrograde itself is significant because it is in the sign of Leo. And we've had two major themes going on with Leo. One is Mars in Leo entering uh, back in November, and then retrograding, and then going forward again. And then the famous Pluto in Aquarius opposing Mars in Leo. So the talk here is going to start, and it will have um, something to do with that opposition and that forward energy and retrograde and forward energy again in Leo. So that's why this Mercury retrograde in Leo is significant. Then we have the Sun entering Leo, and this is the latter half of the third part of July where energy starts picking up. The Sun is the most powerful planet in our solar system. Uh, well, one of the most, but it illuminates everything. Nothing is hidden with the Sun. And the Sun rules Leo. So it is at its most significant zenith energy here. Leo is a very proud, confident sign. And again, this is significant because of the Pluto opposite. We still have that opposition with Pluto. And now we have Mercury retrograding in Leo, and all that back and forth we've had. So the Sun will start illuminating things that might have been hidden in regards to your Leo related house. But in the background, a theme will be playing uh, about the fifth house of love, romance, children, creativity, and our dear pets, because Leo rules the fifth house natally. So, yeah, the Sun energizes. It's going to start picking up um, its power here. And Leo is a proud and loud sign. So things are going to start picking up here. Excuse me. Sorry about that. All right. I usually, of course, do not do moon in the monthly scope because moon is a fleeting aspect. It really only does a 2.5 stint in each sign. But I am mentioning the moon here because of the significance of the planets and the signs it's in. Um, because they're doing major things, and because this energy is picking up at the end of the month, I want you to be aware of your feelings, of your emotions. The moon rules our emotions, and they are hidden as the moon is hidden. It is at night. So, with things going on in these important signs, um, you might not be aware when a significant emotion or feeling overcomes you. That's why I decided to include the moon so that you are aware of your feelings. And also, we have a Venus square Mars in the sign of Gemini and Virgo, which is also significant. Remember, Mars entered Virgo in late last month. Virgo natally rules the sixth house of health, habits, routines, scheduling, any type of rituals. So it could be about a job. Um, it also rules taking care of someone and small animals. Virgo is also ruled by Mercury, the higher octave of Mercury. Virgo is a fix-it sign. It hones in on something specific and fixes it. It's about detail. It's very precise. And Virgo rules like surgical instruments, as in hospitals. Also illnesses, diseases, um, bacteria, and things like that. So Mars obviously doesn't like being in Virgo that much because Mars rules fiery, independent, warlike Aries. Um, and Mars is all about, what do you want? I want that. All right, let's go. Let's go get it. And it doesn't care who is in front of him, whether it's a baby or a fire breathing dragon. It just goes towards its objective. And Virgo doesn't, it is not about throwing the baby out with the bathwater. It's very precise. Also, so the significance here is we not only have Mars in Virgo trying to rush things, but we also have Mercury that is retrograde, and it will definitely affect the sign of Virgo. So you've got two planets that are agitating Virgo. I'm laughing with you guys. Yeah, just give a lot of leeway and room for Virgos because yeah, they can be they can be rightly so upset during the latter half of the month. And yeah, it's pretty interesting that Mercury rules both Gemini and Virgo, and then we have Venus in Gemini, and it's squaring Mars, which is in Virgo. So that's why it's significant. I mentioned the new moon, so that's why I'm saying it picks up the end of the month in Leo. And then we have our famous Sun in Leo opposes Pluto in Aquarius, our famous showdown. We've been having that since November, and in January, and now we have it again. So this is an ongoing battle between Leo and Aquarius. So an ongoing battle in your Leo and Aquarius related houses, and the main theme or the background themes is Leo rules the fifth house of love, romance, children, and creativity, and Aquarius rules the group, the collective. Um, and your hopes and wishes and dreams of how you want to be seen amongst these people, among friends. About it's about associations, memberships, but there's also a hierarchy within the 11th house of Aquarius. So those two themes will be playing out in the background, regardless of where Leo and Aquarius falls in your chart. And you can see, like, your feelings are all up into this story. So this square, where did I have my square? Let me see. I think it was, there we go, on the so just a little bit more about the Venus square Mars. Venus and Mars are the lovers of the zodiac, um, famous lovers of the zodiac, sometimes contentious lovers. um, so I, I've already explained a little bit about that, but in the event that it is a partnership or a romance going on, it can be very, very sensual, very sexy, very exciting aspect here, even though it is a square, a hard aspect, but it's like the kind of break up to make up, or this could be the makeup. And squares can be good. Squares jumpstart things. Okay. The only thing I reason I'm mentioning it is the only thing is if you are able to get past the pride part, it can be very sensual, very nice, very exciting. Uh, but and I want to make emphasize the point that if you're going to get up into the details or the weeds of it, it can be very disruptive. It can be very challenging. If you're going to have hangups about the pride, the ego part, it can be not so nice square, where past stuff will be brought up, and if you take it to heart, it can disrupt it. It can bring some challenges as well into the future. So you don't want to do that. Um, Venus is a powerful planet, and Mars also, the god of wars. So you have to know how to navigate this energy, or at least be aware that what's being said or what's being, you know, try to get past the details, because the details will be all up in your faces here. So that's one thing that I wanted to mention regarding that. All right, and I've already talked about this new moon. It's not a clean new moon, um, but it's set your intentions on the positive aspects of Leo, of confidence, of pride. It can be a loud, proud new moon or new opportunity, but it does have some challenging aspects. I've already discussed this, some Pluto opposition, and then yeah, feelings are all up in here. So again, the details, the feelings about details, being anal about it, or saying something just to please someone. Gemini. Um, yeah, just be aware of that. Then we do have Chiron, the wounded healer, as he is known, that will be stationing retrograde. Again, pay attention to the date and the days around this date, as you might have an epiphany of some sort regarding a past wound you have had in your Aries related house. And remember, in the background, if it's not your first house, in the background it will be in regards to image or identity, inclusive of wherever Aries is in your sun or natal chart. Um, and we will be. Chiron is the wounded healer, a wound that never heals, um, or our, I'm putting up in air quotes, our father's sins that we pay for. Sorry, my pug. But how we deal with it is teaching others regarding this wound, because that's what Chiron did. He taught others about how he got his wound, and that actually helped them deal with it. Oh, gee, boo boo. No, no. All right, and then we have Venus that will enter Cancer. This is absolutely lovely. Venus, during the end of the month, during the mid to the end of the month, is having a hard go at it, uh, because there's some hard aspects to it. But oh, gee, enough, Baba, enough. Sorry. um, but here and onwards, even though we have some heavy duty dynamics going on in August, and the end of the month is setting that up. Venus here is going to be in a lovely placement, and we're going to have reprieve through that area of our lives. Venus attracts love, money, fortune, and fame, um, diplomacy, and being kind, and all that. Venus rules very diplomatic Libra, um, balanced Libra, and Cancer is a very nurturing sign. It is a homebody, and it's a very kind sign. Cancer rules the fourth house of home, family, parents, patriotism, a sign of the USA, um, and it's a nurturing sign. And we have Jupiter here. So this Venus conjoining Jupiter here is absolutely magnificent. It's a very soothing, embalming sign, and it's very, very beneficial. Um, this Venus Jupiter conjunction in Cancer, which will culminate around August 11th, is one of the most favorable aspects of this year, especially for a Gemini. Woohoo, Gemini! Cancer is your second house of job, money, income, and your value system. Um, and Jupiter is expanding this area of your life, and now Venus is coming in to bless this. So I would, if I were you, I'd play a dollar lotto or two um, around these dates, beginning the end of the month towards August 11th. I do not advocate gambling. That's not what I'm saying. This video is for entertainment purposes only. However, this very beneficial aspect, I would like to mention that, yeah, maybe you want to play like a dollar lotto or something. Um, Also for Capricorn, this is a very, very lovely area for you. It is your seventh house of partnerships, all kinds of partnerships. Um, Definitely for Cancer, this is your first house of self. You are going to be very alluring and beautiful. And anything you want to do in regards to your physical self is going to turn out really lovely. Um, and Pisces, this is your fifth house of love, romance, children, and creativity. So that's going to be super nice. Um, and the significance is because Jupiter is here, conjoining Venus, and Jupiter. It's been 12 years since Jupiter has been in Cancer. So think back 12 years ago, and now you have a Venus also conjoining. So this is a double yummy whammy. Hmm. It's very nice. And then the month ends with Mercury Cazimi in Leo, or the Mercury conjoining the Sun in the sign of Leo. And this can be very beneficial. It is a 1 day type of a deal. So whatever your Leo related house, whatever opportunity that comes up, take full advantage of it, um, because nothing that comes that close to the sun lasts. It's a combustion after that. It's a use it or lose it kind of deal. Otherwise, it can also be loud. Something about a conversation um, that's being illuminated that can be very loud. So it can go either way, but it is in regards to Leo. So wherever Leo falls for you, and then natally Leo rules the fifth house of love, romance, children, and creativity. And that sort of wraps up the month. That's what the month is all about. Um, where is it? There it is. Um, so just remember, it's going to start off kind of nice and mellow and slow, with a couple of exceptions. Again, Venus entering Gemini would be an exception, or the Venus conjunction Uranus and Taurus on the 4th, and then Uranus entering Gemini. Um, that would be the exception. The full moon is kind of quiet, and like I said, almost everything is turning retrograde. Just be careful of any agreements, ideas, contracts, signing, talking, texting in regards to your Leo related house, because Mercury is going to be going retrograde. It's already in shadow at the beginning of the month. Have plans A, B, and C as a backup. And we do have the Sun opposition to Pluto. Again, something that is coming to a head, but it has its roots back in November, December, and January, and all the action that's been taken in your Leo related house. And then we've got some tense emotions going on, starting, the 24th, 25th, through the 28th. Emotions are going to start bubbling up. And then we have the reprieve of Venus entering Cancer, and Jupiter waiting there to embrace Venus. So we'll have a reprieve in that, and then the Mercury Cazimi. So that is all, my good friends, my fellow patriots. um, I hope you have a fantastic 4th of July. Um, and for those who are not in the U.S. or U.S. citizens, wish us well. We are on the brink of something big here in the U.S. I'm excited about it. And then that's it. I feel like I'm dropping off my baby. Maybe because I haven't talked to you guys in a long time. Again, lastly, just if you have any questions, because I didn't do each sign, please leave them in the comments. I answer all questions. I might be late to answering them. Please forgive me about that. But I do eventually answer all questions. And then I will be uploading the Uranus in Gemini video regarding each sign in the next week. All right, take care, my lovely people. I'll talk to you soon.